What's going on, everybody? This is the Developing Dad Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. We are live, obviously. We are going to talk about this. Goodness. Oh boy, I can only imagine what this broadcast is going to be like if we can get some people in here to talk about this. But you see, this is directly from President Donald J. Trump's Truth Social account. And it reads, if you haven't read it yourself, it says, the damage to the nuclear sites in Iran is said to be, quote unquote, monumental. The hits were hard and accurate. What's going on, son? Oh, great skill was shown by our military. Thank you. Right, exactly. Exactly. Oh boy. Oy vey indeed. All right. So we're going to talk about this. I've got some more tweets to show you, some posts from Donald Trump's Truth Social. And we're going to talk about the timeline of this. We actually did some discussion about this with regard to Zionism the other day. But this is, the strike was, whew. All right. This is Trump actually discussing it. And we're going to talk about it. Do I regret my vote? Right? Do I regret my vote? Because many of you already know that I voted for Donald Trump in the last two elections. I did not vote for him in 2016, but I did in 2020 and 2024. Let's see. So this is what Donald Trump said on his Truth Social on June 21st, 2025 at 6:50 p.m. If you don't know, I don't know if you're under a rock or something. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in. Let me know where you are coming in from. But this is what President Donald Trump says. We have completed our very successful attack on the 3 nuclear sites in Iran, including, Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. All right. Yeah, because I couldn't read it that small. Right? It's a little bit small. All planes are now outside of Iranian airspace. A full payload of bombs was dropped on the primary site, Fordow. All planes are safely on their way home. Congratulations to our great American warriors. There is not another military in the world that could have done this. Now is the time for peace. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Well. Okay, if you say so. I mean, let's just say this. Do I regret my vote? Absolutely not. Because unfortunately in America we have a 2-party system, and the other candidate was completely unelectable in my humble opinion. Donald Trump, I was taking him at his word because his last presidency proved that I could take him at his word. But with new information comes new revelation, and if I'm doing the same thing I did when Biden was president. I'm living my life, doing what I do, and watching to see what the outcome of this is going to be. I don't know what the outcome is going to be. What's going on, brother Edwin Ramirez? What's happening, brother? What's happening? So I don't know what the outcome is going to be, but I trust that God knows what the outcome is going to be. And I can't say that I'm happy about this, because this feels all too similar to a previous situation in 2001, where and prior to that, where it was all WMDs, right? The threat of nuclear wars from another country that started with IRA. Can you guess what other country that was? This seems all too similar to me. And I'm no geopolitical expert. I don't know what the far-reaching implications of this are going to be. My pea-sized brain says, if you attack a sovereign nation, you should expect retaliation. Now, obviously, Donald Trump understands this as well, right? Because he, on his Truth Social, says it right here. Hold on, let me zoom this in. any retaliation against the United States of America will be met with force far greater than what was witnessed tonight. Thank you, Donald J. Trump, President of these United States of America. So he understands that there could be blowback because of this. Now, what does I have children. I voted for Donald Trump specifically for the reasons of the economy, for reasons of peace, and because he promised this, right? Is it platform number 8? Prevent. Let me see. I'm going to zoom in. See this one right here? Do that. Prevent World War III. Restore peace in Europe and in the Middle East, and build a great Iron Dome missile defense shield over our country, all made in America. Yes, immigration, no new wars, economy. Those were the reasons why. And guys, seriously, I was never going to vote for Kamala Harris. And so, do I regret my vote? No. Because there was no I am generally a third party candidate voter. Constitution Party, Libertarian Party, something like that. Because I believe in the sanctity of not sanctity of the Constitution, but I believe in the Constitution as a governing document. And I want us to go back to those principles. I didn't see Republicans. I saw Republicans essentially just in name only or in word only, believing desiring to uphold the Constitution prior to Donald Trump in 2016. His presidency from 2016 to 2020 proved to me that he had an America First agenda, that he wanted to get back to first principles. And so I voted for him in 2020. He obviously lost in 2020. I voted for him, and the pure incompetence of Biden-Harris forced me to vote for him again in 2024. Now, he started out doing exactly what we expected him to do. But I think, and I may be incorrect, as more information comes out, I am willing to change my opinion. I'm not dead set. I'm not hardcore MAGA where I think, oh, whatever Donald Trump does is right. I'm going to keep a close eye on the situation of, obviously there are, no, do I regret my vote? Obviously not. No, not even close. Because the alternative was so bad that Donald Trump would actually have to turn into Adolf, like they say that he was supposed to be, because they were actually Adolf. Like, the left is actually authoritarian. If COVID lockdowns, mandates, gender transition, flood of illegal immigrants, the constant lying, the desire to mutilate children when they're outside of the womb, the desire to destroy them before they even get out of the womb. They were just that. There was only two options for me: third party or Donald Trump. So that other party is not even on the table. So when people who voted left try to say, "Oh, do you regret your vote?" Well, if I do, it wasn't because Kamala was going to be better. That was not the case. There was absolutely no way on God's green earth that I was going to ever vote for Kamala Harris. Let's just put that out there. All right. Now, Donald Trump has to show me that this peace through strength, or are they going to back down? Now, it doesn't seem like they're going to back down. And it also doesn't seem like there was unity in his, let's see, hold on one second. Let's go back. In his cabinet and with his intelligence community. Let's listen in, because this is not a good look at all. Okay, let's listen.
What intelligence do you have that Iran is building a nuclear weapon? Your intelligence community has said they have no evidence that they are at this point.
Well, then my intelligence community is wrong. Who in the intelligence community said that?
Your director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard.
She's wrong.
What intelligence do you have that Iran is building?
Right. So what if director of intelligence, your director of intelligence, you obviously have some information that your director of intelligence does not have. What is that? What is that information? We need to know. I would like to know. Obviously, you can't give us specifics because that would compromise national security. But are you saying that you have ironclad evidence that Iran was building nuclear weapons and that your strike completely decimated their capabilities of pursuing that in the future? Because we've seen, we looked at it in the last episode that I did on, I think it was Thursday, where the supreme leader of Iran issued a fatwa saying that creation of nuclear weapons was haram, forbidden. So what's going on? Like this is the question. And I've been trying to stay out of this, just letting his presidency roll on and see what happens, because there was so much. I mean, what my channel was trying to do was point out the hypocrisy of the left so that black people would feel comfortable voting for Donald Trump, so that we wouldn't have another 4 years of Biden Harris. That was what my channel was focused on. And so now that that's happened, I was saying, okay, well, let's just watch what he does for the next 4 years. Well, this is the first thing that has me thinking, okay, look, now are you sure about this? Because this could go sideways quickly, very quickly. Iran could retaliate. And who says that they won't? Because they're saying that they will. Let's listen in. Now, obviously, you won't be able to understand what they're saying, but we'll read the subtitles. All right, so let's see. This is what they're saying. This is only 8 seconds. So, all right, it says only part was damaged.
تنها بخشی که در سایت هسته‌ای فورد آسیب دیده این تونل‌های ورودی و خروجی بودند و آسیبی به خود تأسیسات تنها.
Now, two things about this video. They're saying that only the entrances and the certain things were partly damaged, but that means that they existed. So are you admitting to us that they existed? That you all were pursuing a nuclear weapon? Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you to everybody that's tuning in. All support information is in the description. Y'all know how we do. And get those likes up. If you're in here, could you like the video? That really helps with the engagement. I'm not sure of it. All right. That's for YouTube people. If you're not on YouTube, then, well, you could still like it. Yeah, do it if you can. All right. So, what are we supposed to believe about this? Because this has made a sharp divide in what is considered the MAGA camp, right? You have people disassociating and disowning people who aren't in full support of what Donald Trump is doing. Peace through strength. They're calling Donald Trump they're calling him Bibi Netanyahu's lapdog or whatever. Like he's controlled by Israel, the anti-Zionist. And again, I'm not a Zionist. I will never be, because biblically I don't believe it's supported. And I have an acronymized video teaching coming out next week that will explain my position in more detail, but I've talked about it in multiple places. Why Zionism is toxic Christianity. And that's going to be the acronym TOXIC. Just a little sneak preview for y'all. Okay? You're going to see how I make it happen. Yeah, Zionism is toxic. Now, they're saying here that that their main facility was only partially damaged. Obviously, they're admitting that the facility exists, but they're still capable of pursuing their nuclear program. Now, is it for energy? Is it for weaponry? What is the purpose of it? We don't know. Now, there's something else that oh goodness, yeah. Because this is a part of the problem. We keep hearing, right? This is another interesting link that I saw. We keep hearing that, right? Let me see. All right. Okay. Right. Why am I paying for this? They're talking about the IQ score. They're our greatest ally, right? And then they never ever signed any treaty of alliance with us, ever. So how they're our greatest ally when we have nothing written that would bind them to an alliance with us? Yeah, so we don't really know, like, what is the and this is, yeah, our duty is to America. And if Iran was an actual threat to America, if they had nuclear weapons that we can verify, and that they were going to attempt to use them against America, then yes, we should be going in there to destroy them, right? I'm okay with that. What I'm not okay with is they were a threat to Israel, and so we went in and destroyed them, their nuclear facilities. That's not what I'm not okay with that. Show me where they were they were a threat to us. That's all I want to know. I want to know why, if they've been a threat to us for this long, why are we just now striking them? Were they not a threat 10 months ago? I have to ask these questions because, yeah, because even Tucker asked this question when he was talking to Ted Cruz. When Ted Cruz said, as sort of a as a passing reason, that Iran is trying to assassinate Donald Trump. Okay, well, if they were really trying to, if we had credible evidence that they were trying to assassinate Donald Trump, wouldn't that be the primary reason why we would want to sweep away that regime? If they are trying to kill our head of state, and we have credible evidence to that fact, we don't need to be doing this for Israel. Israel is of no concern of ours. They're trying to kill our president. If they were trying to kill Joe Biden, take him out. If they tried to kill Barack Obama, take him out. Right? That's where I am. If they're trying to, I don't care who the head of America is, whether I agree with them or not. If a foreign power is trying to assassinate our head of state, take them out. If you have credible evidence of that, who cares about what they're doing with Israel? I don't. At that point, I don't. I don't anyway, but that's not even a concern of ours. What's going on with Iran and Israel? If Iran is trying to assassinate Donald Trump, that's an America first thing. Yes, take him out. You would have gotten no pushback, I think, from any person that voted for Donald Trump if that were the main reason. We're going to change the regime because we have credible evidence that they were trying to assassinate Donald Trump. Okay. Yeah, that's an act of war. Go for it. No questions asked. I'm Sign them. Come on, sign us up. Wipe them out. But because of our greatest ally, who apparently has never signed an alliance treaty. I mean, y'all correct me if I'm wrong. We can go and ask. Let's see. Let's do this. Do America and Israel have a formally declared alliance? ChatGPT says no. No, the United States and Israel do not have a formally declared alliance in the way that NATO countries do with mutual defense treaty. However, the two nations maintain a very close strategic partnership that functions similarly to an alliance in many respects. So we don't have. Yeah. Maybe it does. Yeah. Right. Brother Anthony Allen, what's going on? Moderator and member. I think that it goes back to Iran taking hostages from the American embassy in Tehran in 1979. Old debt, possibly. Yeah. I mean, there are a multitude of reasons why I would support a regime change in Iran. But none of them have to have anything to do with Israel. Not a single one. Not a single one. Now, you call me an anti-Semite, but actually, Iranians are Semitic people too. So I don't know what you're gonna say. Yeah, we and again, who are the only group? We had a comment in the what Middle Eastern country has nuclear weapons? Is it Iran? Iraq? Kuwait? Syria? Which one? Are they the only ones that need to have nuclear capabilities? Because I'm trying to figure this out. I really want to know. He's talking about regime changes, right? And this is important stuff to discuss as well. Regime change without a regime change. This is all coming from Donald Trump's Truth Social. I'm just going there and asking questions. Like, this is where it's not politically correct to use the term regime change. But if the current Iranian regime is unable to MAGA, why wouldn't, right, make Iran great again? Why wouldn't there be a regime change? MAGA. What's going on, brother Brandon Wood? I appreciate you. Yeah, brother, it is spiritual. This is a spiritual battle we're fighting. There's principalities and powers behind this. I believe that 100%, which is one of the reasons why I'm not up in arms, right? Oh no, right. But I do want to talk about it because this is important. First of all, I want my children to see me having these types of discussions, right? My son is actually in the chat right now. I want to see them having these discussions online and with other people who disagree with me, because I have these discussions with my wife and with my children, and we talk about these things. Right? So there should be a space, I believe, for young minds, right? And I want my children to see me grappling with these things, knowing that I'm not perfect and that I don't have all of the answers. But they know that we voted for Trump. They understand the reasons why. I didn't hide this from them. They're not. I don't do things in a vacuum. Yeah. What happened? Okay, try to keep it clean, folks. Who? Somebody in there? Well, my filter must be on because I don't see anything that's unclean. Well, anyway. So we've got so much going on. You've got Zionist Ted Cruz and his ilk that are 100% on board with attacking Iran because they are a threat to Israel. That's not our fight. That's not our problem. That's not our issue. I don't care about whether or not Iran is a threat to Israel. It really doesn't. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. Hello, Black Atheist. There you go. All right. With the Thundercat logo. Love it. Acts 19:15. Thank you for tuning in. All right. Thank you to Open God. Thank you for tuning in. Yes. Leches, the werewolf. There you go. All right. There you go. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. All right. Samir. I don't know if you're still here, but thank you. Thank you. Captain. I'm not going to say that name, but America First. Yes. But I agree with that sentiment. America first. Absolutely. Now, we're not saying America only, because there may be times when America needs to involve themselves in geopolitical issues around the globe. There may be that time. Right? World War II was one of those times. We're not saying we're isolationists, because that's what the accusation is going to be, that you're an isolationist. Actually, no, I don't. But I don't want to unnecessarily invoke conflict with a nation that, again, until we're essentially having to just trust us. They have the nukes, right? Like Arby's has the meats, Iran has the nukes. Just like when Iraq had WMDs, have they found them yet? Have they found Iraq's WMDs yet? I don't know. I'm asking. Let me somebody ask this. No weapons of mass destruction were found in Iraq after the 2003 U.S.-led invasion. The Bush administration cited Iraq's possession of WMDs, chemical, biological, and possibly nuclear, as a justification for the invasion in March 2003. Right? What's going on, Custard Monster? Thank you for coming in. I think you misunderstood what I was saying, but it's okay. Yeah, and again, so there were no WMDs that, what's going on, Angry Badger? How y'all doing? My Own Days, thank you for coming in. Thank you for coming in. Right. And so if there was credible evidence back then in 2003. They told us to trust them, and then come to find out there were none. We've been told in this instance that there are some, even though there's conflict of intelligence between Trump and his director of intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. We looked at that clip earlier. She says there were none. He says there are some. They strike. Trust us. See, again, that's why antennas are being raised by people who remember the history. Well, the last time y'all said that there were weapons of mass destruction, possibly nuclear armaments in this nation that you attacked, it turned out to be false. So forgive us if we don't take your word for it this time. Just forgive us. Could we possibly have a reason to be slightly skeptical that there are WMDs in Iran? Possibly. Could we possibly? Maybe. I don't know. Right? And apparently, just for asking these questions, we're now anti-MAGA if you don't follow. Because again, this is the playbook straight. This is the playbook straight from the left, where any dissension is met with you're ostracized. You are persona non grata. You are put in a corner and made to keep quiet. Jam, desensitization. Don't say anything. You're an anti-Semite if you say something. Could it just be that I remember 2003? I was born then. I'm almost 50 years old. So yes, I was born in 2003, and I remember the WMDs. I know people who personally served during that time. Multitudes of people I know, have plenty of friends who served during that time. We remember. We're not that young. And so you want us to trust you this time, like we trusted you last time, but no, right here, no weapons of mass destruction were found in Iraq after the 2003 U.S.-led invasion. What's going on, Johnny Applegate? Thank you to everyone that's tuning in. Don't forget to like the video on your way in. We got 76 people total viewing right now, which is pretty good. 64 on the Developing Dad Podcast YouTube channel, 11 on X, and 1 on Facebook. If you could like the video, that helps to get the engagement up so we can have this conversation. Right, and so we're looking at this, and some of you all are pointing out the fact that, yes, Iran is a threat to Israel. Right? That could possibly be the truth. That is the truth, right? They're in close proximity to one another. But do they have the long-range capabilities to strike the United States? Is this our issue? Right? Right? So, and again, I know Johnny Applegate, we're going to have to disagree about that. There's no evidence to prove that the Democrats have done anything of significance that would cause us to want. I'm not even talking about Democrats. Democrats don't even concern me. I'm either a third party voter, or I went with Trump these past 2 times because of his 2016 to 2020 presidency, and that there are very obviously evil people on the left who hate him, and they want the destruction of people who look like me and have for too long many of the I'm
a PhD.
The best and brightest black women, 96% of them have voted for the Democrat Party and have gotten us, absolutely nothing. We're going to talk about that. As a black community, we've just been strung along for years. And so I'm never going to vote for the left or Democrat ever again until they would have to come back so far to the middle and left where we could actually have discussions. Most of those people are now in the Republican Party. Your moderate Democrats are now, even Trump is a moderate. He's not really a conservative. And so, unfortunately, the left is so far gone and so wicked and so depraved that no clear thinking, biblically based Christian can vote for them. They'd have to turn off too much of their reasoning in order to vote for them. So I don't even discuss the left. The left is of no importance to me. They're ridiculous. Yeah, right. Right. The creators of the KKK, Margaret Sanger, the Great Society programs, I talked about that for months and still talked about that. Right. I've already accepted the fact
you
that
ain't black.
Right. That I ain't black when it comes to politics. It is what it is. I really don't care. I've got to look myself in the face in the morning, that mirror, and know that I'm trying to do what God has said, Christian, trying to walk out faithfully the Christian faith. But anyway, and I can't do that by voting for Democrats. All right. Now, but Trump is starting to make me look like side eye, right? What's going on, Josh Morris? Thank you for coming in. Tony, thank you for commenting. Everybody, Observer, thank you. Yes. So Brandon Wood, one of my members, longtime supporters. Thank you, brother, for commenting. You say, I do think Iran is a threat to the United States. Didn't they say that Israel is the little Safari in the United States, the little Satan, the big Satan. They probably have. I do remember that. I think that is true. They may be a threat. I'm not saying that they're not any type of threat, but their nuclear armament, how much of a threat is that to us? Do they have long range missile capabilities? Could they launch a nuke against us? That's the question. So if we're trying to destroy their nuclear capabilities, is it because we are threatened by their nuclear capabilities, or is it because Israel is threatened by the nuclear capabilities? That's the question I'm asking. So they may actually be, they may actually be a threat. I mean, they are a threat to a certain degree. Don't get me wrong. I mean, because we've done enough to them and they've done enough to us in the past that we don't have good relations. And if they could, they probably would attack us. But yes, yeah. So, yeah. But yeah, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, Tony says America needs to mind its own business. Yeah. Josh Morris. Yep. You say mostly Israel. Yep. Yeah, they are a threat to us to a certain degree, but mostly because of proximity, their nukes can hit Israel, right? I don't think they could hit us, but we went in specifically to take out their nuclear capabilities. Was that a threat to us? That's the question. I'm asking a question. I don't know enough. I'm not like I said, I'm not a geopolitical expert. I'm just a Christian man who does just regular daily life, trying to figure out how to live, for God's glory, but then still grapple with all of these issues that seem to be popping up daily in our culture. Right. And so, a lot of this is me just having a conversation, specifically when I'm having a live, is to invite you all into this conversation as I'm trying to think through these things. All right. Now, some things I'll take a hard stance on, but this isn't one of them. I have to wait. I have to wait to see what the outcome of this is. And right now, my thought is this wasn't our concern. We should not have gotten into Israel's. We shouldn't have gotten into this scrape for Israel. Yeah. So, Brandon, what do you mean by that? Genesis 12:3 and Numbers 24:9, and I wonder about biblical prophecy and Israel. What do you mean by that? Let me know, because I have a video coming out based on Zionism, and I have started everything. I'm going to do a deep dive on why Zionism is toxic, and it's going to be using Genesis 12:3 as a jump off point. Yeah. And I just don't believe that the Bible teaches that we should be. I believe that scripture is misapplied. Genesis 12:3. Let me look up Numbers 24:9 to see exactly what that is. Yeah. Let's see. All right. He crossed laid down like who bless you and curse you or cursed you. Okay. Let's see. Let me check this. All right. I'm just looking it up. Okay. Yeah, I mean, we shouldn't be. Yeah, the Good News translations. Yeah. This is again, and that video is coming out this week. I'm going to talk about it. I may use that scripture that you just used there, but we're going to discuss why this is a toxic mixture for American Christians and for America, the nation. Zionism is one of the worst interpretations one of the worst recent interpretations with respect to the geopolitical stances of the United States of America. I believe that Zionism is anti-Christ. That's how strongly I believe that we shouldn't be held bondage to the nation state of Israel. So, and I'm going to try to prove that point strictly from the scriptures. And I've done it before, but this one's going to be a little bit more. This one's going to be a little bit more systematic. That Zionism is toxic, right? The belief that Israel is that this nation state of Israel is God's people is a departure from every clear hermeneutic that we can practice based on what Jesus believed, what Paul believed, what Peter believed. This is a Schofield invention that has had such deleterious effects on our foreign policy that we're going to have to spend about another maybe 50 years before it's out of the consciousness of the American Christians, right? Because this is, let's see, he's been like, let's look at it. Let's see, I'm going to pull it over here because this is the mindset that's causing the problem that we're having to deal with today. This mindset has led to everything, right? That we're seeing.
Growing up in Sunday school, I was taught from the Bible, those who bless Israel will be blessed, and those who curse Israel will be cursed. And from my perspective, I want to be on the blessing side of things.
Of those who bless the government of Israel?
Those who bless Israel is what it says. It doesn't say the government of, it says the nation of Israel.
It doesn't say Israel.
That's in the Bible. As a Christian, I believe
No, it's
Where
not.
is that?
I can find it to you. I don't have the scripture off the tip of my... You pull out the phone and use the Google.
It's in Genesis. So you're quoting a Bible phrase. You don't have context for it and you don't know where in the Bible it is, but that's like your theology? I'm confused. What does that even mean?
Tucker.
I'm a Christian. I want to know what you're talking about.
Okay. Where does my support for Israel come from? Number one, because biblically we're commanded to support Israel. But number two...
Hold on.
No.
Hold on. You're a senator, and now you're throwing out theology, and I am a Christian, and I am allowed to weigh in on this. We are commanded as Christians to support the government of Israel?
We are commanded to support Israel. And what
does that mean, Israel?
We're told those who bless Israel will be blessed.
But what? Hold on. Define Israel. This is important. Are you kidding? This is a majority Christian country.
Define Israel? Do you not know what Israel is? That would be the country you've asked like 49 questions about.
So that's what Genesis, that's what God is talking about.
The nation of Israel, yes.
And so is that the current borders, the current leadership? He's talking about the political entity called Israel?
He's talking about the nation of Israel. Yeah, nations exist, and he's discussing a nation. A nation was the people of Israel.
Is the nation
They're the descendants
God's
of
referring
Abraham.
to in Genesis, is that the same as the country run by Benjamin Netanyahu right now?
Yes.
Right? So, this is insane. This is an insane... The fact that since the Schofield Bible was created, people have said that if we don't bless Israel, we won't be blessed. Can we honestly, and even if you look at it practically, he says he was taught in Sunday school, but let's just go to this. Let's go. Here we go. Because we have to keep coming back to this because they keep using it. This is theological support for Israel. This is the problem. When they put it in theological terms, then it makes it, you have to do this, because if you don't, then you are not a good Christian. You're not a faithful, God-honoring Christian. This is what you're being told, okay? So, where do you see the word Israel in this is that verse? I'm giving you all the translations. I will bless you. The singular. You, thee. Where does it say Israel? He keeps saying that those who bless Israel will be blessed. Y'all might wind up getting that video a little bit early. Because Ted Cruz is emblematic of the theology that has gotten us into all of these political scrapes on behalf of Israel. because we have to bless them or we will be cursed. We can't tell them no. We can't help a Christ-hating group of people, a government that does not acknowledge Christ as Lord, but actually for the majority of people in Israel, he's considered a fatherless son, the other term. But this is the theology. This is the reasoning that they give you for believing that this strike on Iran should not be questioned. Why? Because it was done on behalf of Israel. And then don't ask any more questions, you anti-Semite. That's it. Don't do it. You can't do that. Because if you do that, then wait a minute. No, then you're an anti-Semite and you've got to be dealt with. This is absolutely insane that we have to keep dealing with this, but no one wants to push back on the inconsistency of, yeah, and then, right, right, exactly. That's it. Israel wasn't even a nation yet. It was just Abraham. Christ is the seed. Christ is the one who fulfills Genesis 12, and that's what that lesson that I'm going to post for members so that they can use for my members. And if you want to sign up for membership, it's only $1 a month at the lowest rate. But you can use the toxic acronym that I'm going to give you in order to combat Zionist teaching and hopefully push back on the nonsense that has gotten us into scrape after scrape after scrape with countries in the Middle East for Israel's benefit. If the United States government wants to do all of this stuff for Israel, go for it. Just don't try to tell us that it's a theological mandate for us as Christians. I can't stop you anyway. I can't stop the United States government anyway. If they decide, I didn't have anything to do with, I couldn't stop that nuclear or that strike that they just did on those 3 sites in Iran. I had nothing to do with it. I can't stop it. But you're not going to tell me, you're not going to pull the wool over my eyes and tell me that that's somehow a blessing to our nation. And get that out of here. Y'all can go somewhere else with that. The Ted Cruzes of the world. I don't care. Well, you dispensational, whatever, do whatever you want. But don't try to pull the wool over my eyes when what Jalone said right there is exactly what the Bible teaches. That Israel wasn't even a nation. And that Christ fulfills all of those promises. All of them. It's not our duty to fund Israel, to defend Israel, to support Israel, to run to their beck and call. That's not our duty. We got our own problems over here. We got illegal immigrants. We've got, and the next person that I'm going to talk about, we've got, mayors destroying cities, fighting against the deportation efforts of ICE. But then Bibi Netanyahu says, well, y'all need to come over here and help me because I want to fight Israel. And we say, sure. No. Give us a reason. Give us a good reason. Yeah. Give us a reason. Right? And then some people keep saying that Israel is God's nation. No, he's not. They're not. They're not. The temple was destroyed, thus severing the relationship with that physical land. Jesus says this in Matthew 24 that he was going to destroy the temple, that they rejected their Messiah. And I know some people think that the temple is going to be rebuilt. No. Jesus tabernacles with his people now. We are the temple. It's in there. It's right in the Bible, right? It's right in there. It's in the Bible, right? Right? Look at this. This is another one. This for y'all who say that they're the no. Look at this. Look who's being talked about here in 1 Peter 2:9. It's all over the Bible, but the blindness of the people who think Israel's God's nation, they what do they say? What do they think when they read these scriptures? Peter's not talking to Jews. He says here, but you are a chosen race. Chosen? He's talking to Christians. A royal priesthood. A what? Christians are a what? A holy what? What do you see down here? What? Get that Zionism foolishness out of here. It's stupid. We are the nation. A people for his own possession. I'm a false teacher, but y'all can't refute it, I bet you. Go to these scriptures and try to explain it. Exactly. Because they believe in the parenthesis, right? The parenthesis. Yeah. Anyway. Oh man. So it would be fun. It would be fun. I would find it very interesting and instructive and helpful to. It wouldn't be a very interesting. Yeah. No, what's going on, Isaiah? What's happening, brother? What's going on? We disagree on a lot these days, but yes, we do agree on that subject, I think. Yes. We should get together and have a discussion about our disagreements. I think it would be helpful for your members and mine. Yes. I'm doing this. Yes. All right. So, yeah. And again, but they talk about that, but they don't realize that they're talking about Israel as the. I'm gonna deal with all of that in my next video, the one for members. I may release it after, but I'm going to show you how Zionism is toxic to Christianity, right? Yeah. So again, we got some things to discuss. I'm gonna move on to the next topic unless there are some other questions, because the Zionists came out and they started to. I'm having to enter some information here. Yes. And that's the question, K. Smith. K. Smith, thank you to everybody that's tuning in, even if you're disliking. Alton, Val, my brother Isaiah Robertson, Heather. Let's see, who else? The Real Brooks 2020. Who that? Def D, Truth Seeker, Donald Warner, Heather Black, Kanya Okancha. Okay. Josh Morris, Dean Lauer. Thank you to everybody that's tuning in. If you give the video a like, Mr. Nomad, Next Level, Heather Black. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in as we try to build the channel. Thank you to everybody that's been subscribing. You see this is the live subscriber count up here. We're trying to get back into pushing into. I had a goal to get to 10,000, but then we had some, scheduling issues, right? So scheduling issues, but we're gonna keep moving right along. I couldn't do the lives as consistently as I wanted to, but again, I think I figured out the schedule, and we're gonna push to 10,000 and get this thing back on the track, right? We went from like 2,000 to 6,000 within a couple of months, and we're gonna get it back popping. All right, so we're gonna listen into some more videos. Let me know if y'all want to talk a little bit more about that. All right, so we have people calling me a false teacher because I'm so hurt by that. I think I'm going to go and cry. People who logically believe that Israel, I'm doing something on my phone, is something I have to have done by the top of the hour. Let's see. Yes, but let me start. You know what I might do? Let's see. Thank you, Heather Black. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. I appreciate you for, yes. Right, that's a great question. So, as a Christian, I believe fully and firmly that God is in control of all things. So that's what the scriptures teach, right? There's nothing that's happening outside of the purview of his control, and he knows what's going to happen. He knows the ends from the beginning, right? This is what the scriptures teach in Isaiah, teaches in Ephesians, teaches it all over the place, right? So I don't fret. I'm not sitting here wringing my hands and wondering what's going to happen with the, there's a strike but we do what we always do. We pray. We keep on living out godly principles. We control the things that we can control. See, I can't control Donald Trump striking Iran. But what I can control is how I live daily for God's glory. I can do that. I can control how I love my wife. I can control how I raise my children. I can control how I interact with people who I see on a weekly, daily, monthly, whatever basis. I can do all of those things. Those are the things that I can control. I can earn money. I can do that. So those are the things that I focus on. Now, when I decide, hey, I want to come on to YouTube and talk about some geopolitical events or discuss politics, discuss sports, discuss anything that is on my mind that I'm talking about with my wife, well, I'll do that. But I'm not fretting about what's going on in Iraq or Iran. Okay. And I'm definitely not sitting here thinking about how America, because I don't have bad theology, I'm not thinking about how America can best serve the nation state of Israel, because my theology doesn't teach me that I have to do that. My understanding of the scriptures, and I think I'm almost done. I got 2 minutes. Got it done within 2 minutes. Brandon, I used to believe that. Right? When I actually had, I used to believe that Ezekiel 17, because I didn't know any better, that Ezekiel 11:17 was a prophecy fulfilled in 1948. Do I believe that today? I don't really know. I don't know if I believe that today, but I do know this, that even if I did believe that today, it still doesn't preclude, or it still doesn't necessitate me having to believe that Israel as a nation needs to be, what's the best word? That I have to support everything that the geopolitical state of nation of Israel does. So I don't make that logic. Like there's that episode of South Park, right? Where the underpants gnomes, they said steal underpants, step 2, step 3, profit, right? Step 1 was steal underpants, step 2 was question marks, step 3 was profit, right? So that step in the middle, they couldn't make the connection. And I believe that scripture doesn't make the connection from 1948, Israel was created, question mark, support everything that Israel does. Because even the Genesis 12:3, that doesn't, you have to eliminate so much in the Bible, and you have to import so much into it to think that means we have to support everything that Israel does. There's just no consistent biblical reasoning apart from selective arrangement, which is a fairly common logical fallacy in our in biblical hermeneutics and exegesis, and people actually pulling out things from the scriptures. Many people have biases that they don't know. Again, if you have it wouldn't be a blind spot if you saw it. You need other people to see your blind spots. I have blind spots in my theology. Over the past 5 to 6 years, it's been a rough patch for me with regard to Protestantism and their inability to help Christian people do Christian things on the whole. So I've been wrestling with that a lot, right? It was a blind spot. I've had other people come along and help me to see that blind spot and then try to figure out what to do about it. But if I don't have, if I'm not assessing the blind spot, then if no one else is assessing the blind spot for me, then I won't ever see it. So unfortunately, the blind spot of Zionism is widespread, and there is a concerted effort to minimize anyone who will question support for Israel. There has to be you need more reputable teachers standing against this, more popular teachers standing against this. When Ted Cruz can go on to a show and say, I was taught in Sunday school that whoever blesses Israel will be blessed, and whoever curses Israel will be cursed. When it is clear, it's perspicuous. That's the biblical term, right? The perspicuity. Why can't I say that word? Of Scripture. That's not what that says. That's I'm just going to do it. Right. Before we move on to the next part of the topic, right? The next topic, we're going to talk about Brandon Johnson. What's going on, Carrie? Hello. She's glad I'm speaking. I'm glad. Good to see you, sister. Good to see you. It's been a while. All right. How y'all doing? Okay. Let's see. All right. Let's look at this. All right. Let's see. I think. What's that word? Yes. How many times is it used? Is it? I want to look it up. I'm looking at my looking in accordance to see if there's a. Where's this? Research, all text, all tools, Hebrew lexicons. Yeah. All right. Of people, also singular. Let's see. Well, we'll do that. I'm going to do that on the other lesson. I'm going to do that on the lesson. All of that's going to be done on that lesson that I'm going to teach. All right. So garbage in, garbage out. Thank you, everybody that's tuning in. Let's see if there's anybody else. What's up, Crit Cannon? How you doing? What's happening? What's happening? Welcome, Katrina Crittenden. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yes, Ted Cruz, I believe, is being forced to say that. All right. Tilo Ro, how you doing? All right. Linnell Aubrey, thank you. Thank you for tuning in. What is that? Anti-boy or Ant-Boy Unleashed. I got to read it properly. I'm looking to see if anybody that I haven't. Rev Chap 76. There you go. He says the scripture is false, bro. Yeah, disagree. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. What else we got? Lionel Hammonds, welcome. Thank you. I'm checking in on everybody. If you could come in. Curtis Knight, thank you. There you go. Obama Hamel Lincoln. That actually is pretty original in its lack of originality. I've been called, I've been said I look like Abraham Lincoln. Almost every live when I do the vertical, the people say, you look like Abraham Lincoln, or, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But that was a nice merging of Obama. And it's not original that you said I look like Abraham Lincoln, but the way you said it was original. I quite like that. All right. So let's continue. Let's see. Gimli's back. What's going on, Gimli? It's been a while. Yes. Okay. What's going on? And I will address, I bring comments on from super chats, also from members, long-time subscribers and moderators. So I will put them on the screen. But if you want me to address your concern, super chats are always accepted. Any amount, I will address your concern on the screen. Let's see. And it will show up in the bottom as an alert. Let's see. All right, William. Yes. William Garcia. There you go. And JP. Thank you for tuning in. All right. So the question, Jalone says, the question is, can certain Old Testament prophecy be fulfilled in a non-literalist way? For instance, Amos 9:11 was fulfilled in Acts 15 concerning Gentiles. That is true. Because, and that also talks, and I don't want to get too much into the weeds of theology and understanding of biblical hermeneutics. I mean, it's something I studied. I have about 9 to 10 books on this specific topic, probably more. But there's a sense in which fulfillment is the greater, right? There's, we did this thing and it looks exactly the same, or this is the exact thing that we said was going to happen. Or it could be that fulfillment means a filling up, doing something greater. When Jesus talked about greater works will, the people who do the things that I did. Well, it didn't mean that they were going to rise from the dead, right? It just means there will be many and multitude of more works that his followers would do in the coming generations, right? Filling up what is lacking in his body, right? So there's so many. Yeah, we're not going to talk about that for too long, but we need to push back on this narrative that this Zionist playbook needs to be more vociferous. Dispensational Zionism is the bedrock for so many problems geopolitically. America's geopolitical issues have come from that theology. And the theology isn't even sound. Anything. Yeah, it's anything about that. I mean, it doesn't follow logically. So, now, let's move on to our next topic, because we were talking about that for a while. We got a couple of other things to discuss. Brandon Johnson and his reparations. Oh, Brandon. Right? That was the black tax thing I was talking about. So old Brandon Johnson, he's back in the news. All right, back in the news. And we're going to have a little fun with the next topic after this one, right? So Brandon Johnson is doing what Brandon Johnson does. And it's pretty ridiculous. He's one of the many, let's just say this. I'm going to say this at the outset. He's one of the many black mayors in majority black cities that they need to be voted out. And no one like them needs to ever darken the doorstep of public office in these cities if black people want to see progress. Because everything about these people is what's wrong with black political power. They don't do anything to help black people. Not in a substantive way. Oh, they'll give you some platitudes and some symbolism. But when it comes to actually fixing what ails the black community, the Brandon Johnsons, the LaToya Cantrells, name another one. I don't know what, Tiffany Henyard and Karen Bass, and just list them, right? I can go ask I actually asked ChatGPT a few months ago to list all the black mayors in the United States. And most of them are bad people. They're bad litigators. They're bad executives. They're bad politicians. And political power has been something that black people have been taught is a necessity for their survival and for their, what's the word I'm looking for? Success. I'll just use both of them, survival and success in America. But we were thriving in all of the most important metrics before we had political power. Now, people were trying to enact unjust laws on us, but even through those unjust laws, we had intact families. We had thriving economic communities that needed to be destroyed because they were, because black people were rising up to like, oh no, we're not going to let you get down. No, darky, stay down here, right? But we get political power, and now the focus is, right? This is what all of our politicians are talking about.
I just want some money.
They just want some money. They just gonna keep on just over and over and over and over again selling out the black community for money. I talked about that about how many videos ago? I don't know. It's in the list. It's in there somewhere. Yeah. But Brandon Johnson wants reparations.
Our way will bring to black residents in reclaiming ownership of our own communities. That is the spirit of Juneteenth, you all. It is about reflecting on our past. Other cultures are taught to never forget. We need to be reminded as blacks here in Chicago and America, remembering our past and working towards a more just future, investing in black is not a criminal act.
It will be. Well, you about to do it.
Sister Zakiya says she need a witness, so I'm gonna say it again. Investing in black is not a criminal act. Our way will.
Now, if you're specifically saying, where it reads right, Justin, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson just announced he will be handing race-based grants only to blacks for quote unquote slavery reparations. That is actually a criminal act. That's literally a criminal act. What's going on, Leonardo Avila? David Biggs, thank you for tuning in. Thank you. If you could like the video on your way in, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, support. Remember, memberships, $1. You get access to all of the behind the scenes and all of my past live streams where I go in, right? And you're also going to get early access to videos. Now, so he's going to give money to just black people as a form of slavery reparations, which is actually criminal. So he's telling us, don't forget, right? Don't forget. Don't forget. Other groups have been told not to forget. Well, there are conveniently some things that black people forget when they vote for people like him or Kamala Harris or Joe Biden or Barack Obama or Bill Clinton. The list goes on and on. They forget that those groups, that specific party founded the KKK, was instrumental in black extermination through Margaret Sanger's, what eventually became Planned Parenthood. They forget these things when they go to the polls and elect the likes of Raphael Warnock in Georgia. And they forget that these people are being paid. They're paid actors to do exactly what Margaret Sanger said. So she says, we need some preachers to be trained so that if any of their more rebellious members get wind of that we want to stop them or to exterminate the Negro race, the preacher is the one that can, soothe that or solve that problem, right? Because she understood that black people love their pastors and their preachers, and we are very faithful Christian people. We go to church, y'all. We're still the most church-going demographic in the United States, even to this day. We go consistently. We talk about God a lot. Margaret understood this, and she used preachers like Jamal Bryant, like Raphael Warnock, like Al Sharpton, and even the preacher Cadence. Right? He says it down here. He says, oh, sister so-and-so said she need a witness. Well, I'm going to say it again. That's black church talk. That's it. He knows. Right? What is it? Leonardo says we're not. I love it when people say things that I can easily debunk. Let's see. I have to bring this back up. Here we go. Let's see. I'm going to pull it up. I'm looking for it. Don't be dumb, guy. Don't be dumb. Don't do that, Leonardo. Just accept the fact. Look, you can say what you want to say, but don't say dumb stuff. Because it's right there. The data's right there. 85% identify as religious. 45 to 50% attend services weekly. That's the highest number of all the ethnicities. Come on, man. You can say what you want to say about the pathologies, but when the data's there, don't do that. You gotta be smarter than that. I mean, it's right here. It's right here. It's right here. It's right here. I mean, it's in black and white. He said fake news. See, again, he can't reason. He can't reason with the data. Goodness. Man, you're not acquitting yourself well on this one, brother. Oh, well, you can deny the data all you want. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to me. You believe what you want. You believe what you want. I don't care. It's right there. I asked ChatGPT to go find the data. Like, he just went and did it. I don't know. And most AI clients will tell you the same thing. You can go do it. Go do it. Oh, goodness. I don't understand why. That's that Zionist mindset right there, right? That's the same. That's the correlation, right? That's the correlation between the two. I could say that black people, percentage-wise, are the most religious. Back it up with facts, data, and statistics. Fake news. Okay. I don't. Okay, you can believe it if you want. I don't care. I mean, it's just the data. Find your data. Put a link in. Send it to my email. I don't care. Message me on Instagram with your data. But saying fake news, yeah, exactly, Brother Derek. It's called confirmation bias. Black people have been extremely religious for centuries. That's a well-known fact. We are church-going people. I mean, that's not even dispute. That's not even in dispute. That's not even in dispute. It's not a disputable. That's one of the. That's one of the most. That's one of the most slam dunk softballish things in the world. That black people go to church. Exactly, Brother Derek Franklin. That's exactly it. That black people go to church. Now, say what you want about those churches, but, right? Say what you want about the churches, but they're going to church, right? They're going to church, right? A few times a week, frequency. Anyway, by denomination, you can just, it's right there. Go search it for yourself. All right, so let's keep going now. Yeah. Let's keep going. So Brandon Johnson is telling you that the spirit of Juneteenth, and what's going on, Coco J. Jackson? Hello, how you doing? Brandon Johnson says that we should remember, because people are telling us, you should remember Juneteenth. That's the spirit of remembrance, right? And so unfortunately, though, we don't remember the fact that the vast majority of black people didn't even know what Juneteenth was maybe 20 years ago. I mean, my wife and I talk about this all the time. Juneteenth is not it was celebrated regionally in Texas, but the vast majority of black people did not know what it was. It's a political tool used against the right. It was created. It was I don't celebrate it because I never celebrated it. I didn't celebrate it before it became a federal holiday. I'm not going to start celebrating it now. I don't really care. When the Emancipation Proclamation was signed into law, that's when we officially were freed as slaves. Now, obviously, that was for the Northern Territories. But anyway, going to the history, it is what it is. But I'm not about to pretend like Juneteenth is some sort of special day for black people just because the government says it should be. See, my quote unquote blackness doesn't need to be affirmed by the United States government. And they're not going to tell me how to be black. I've never celebrated Juneteenth. I don't want to start celebrating it. So I'm not going to. When it happened, you saw me say nothing about it, which is what I do when I don't care. people were up in arms. Oh, everybody, they posting about Juneteenth. I was like, okay, so what? I don't care. I went to work. I did the same stuff I did every day. I don't care. Yeah, I mean, symbolism is what Democrats are going to give you. Useless, pointless symbolism. That's what they're good at. And I'm over that. I don't need them to affirm me. I don't care. See, I have an identity. That identity is in Christ Jesus. I'm comfortable with that one. I don't need the liberals to tell me that this is how you need to behave in order to be black. They do that enough. They had that time in my life prior to salvation and an understanding of what Christ has done in my life. They had that time. Their time is over now. They can do that for other black people. I don't care. If you post on Juneteenth, about Juneteenth, you're not going to get any pushback from me because I don't care. Now, when he says that we need to remember what? We already know that we were emancipated. June 19th, because it's like, oh, it's freedom. Freedom for one is a freedom for all. If all of us ain't free, then none of us are free. There's a hive mind that comes with being black that I don't partake in. I don't get excited when some ratchet fool gets money and by doing things that are godless because they're black. See, I don't do that. Oh man, that's black excellence. No, it's not. It's trash that the trash culture has accepted as trash and will give money to. But it's not excellent. Let me show y'all black excellence. Let me show you what I think black. Let me show you what I think of when I think of a young black excellent young man. Let's see. Here we go. I'm gonna show you a young man who is black. And now, obviously, I'm not gonna show my. Let's see, where is it? I'm looking for this one. All right, this. No, that's not the only way that black people can be excellent. But when I think of black excellence, I think of things like that. I don't think of Beyonce. I don't think of Jay-Z. I don't think of basketball players, football players. No, you may. That's fine. I don't. So everybody has their own view of what it is. What's going on, Brother Jerome? Let me see something. Brother Jerome D. Wood Sr. I'm researching Choctaw owning black people as slaves in 1866. Oh, apparently all people weren't set free the year before. Interesting. Let me know what you get. Send me something. Send me something. What's going on, Russell Dixon? Educator, unpleasant. Thank you. Yes, that is talent. Yes, that is talent. So when I see that, I think, oh, that young man is extremely talented. And that's black excellence. When I think of black excellence, I see this guy, right? He's another one. I've mentioned him multiple times on my channel. Guy, I think he's about to be 40, but he's created this creator economy where he helps other people reach their goals as content creators and sellers of merchandise and sellers of courses and whatnot. Organically built this. He's not a famous person. He probably can't sing, can't dance, can't write, can't, yeah. Right? So, but my goal is to take 100,000 creators to full time. And he's built this from the ground up. on YouTube. Black excellence. Not many people know about him, but excellent, black, doesn't fit the stereotype, right? Can't sing, dance, rap. He can't do any of that stuff. So he won't be. Now, just so, before you think that Brandon Johnson is getting away with all of this, and that people in his own city can't see his nonsense, let's listen in.
You all sit up there and said you will not allow Trump to come in here and get these illegals. Yeah, you can smile. We're in $1 billion deficit. And you spent half of our money, half of that on illegals. You campaign and double down that you would not raise property taxes.
I won't raise your property taxes.
You wanted to raise our taxes $300 million. They shut it down. Now we back here for $150 million. Okay. See, this is what we asking now.
Cook.
Since you want to crash out, some of y'all say y'all willing to go to jail for it. Trump, Tom Homan, make an example out this right here first. Please come here first. Spend our tax dollars to go. Michael Rodriguez, you said to take Trump to court to protect these illegals. That's cool because we about to make all of y'all aldermen famous. Y'all think this is how it's gonna ride? I think not. Flip Chicago red. We not playing.
This was going to happen to you.
Hold on, before we let the gentleman have his crack at Brandon Johnson. She went in. She was going off on him. And people are tired of this because the problem is they recognize. Why you always lying? Always lying. That's what Democrats do. They always lying. Now, Republicans lie too. Politicians lie. That's kind of what they do. It's a part of the job description, apparently. But the Democrats are, when it comes to what they do to black people, they are exceptionally deceptive. And it harms us more because we're already at a deficit based on the policies of the past. So we come out of slavery, start to 30, we go from single digits in the ability to read and literacy. Then within a generation, that's up to 33%, I believe the statistics are, because we desire these things, all of these things that have been held back from us. We want these things. We want education. We want success. We want the American dream. And so we're attaining it. We're running the race, right? Okay. And then shills like this sell us out. We've got enough. We've got enemies enough, right? KKK, Jim Crow laws. But at least we could look at the enemy and say, oh, the enemy looks like that. They look different than we do. They're openly campaigning for our demise. Now we have ninjas like Brandon Johnson who look like us, right? Profess to be for us, but do everything in their power to harm us. Because people will say this, and this is the playbook for the Democrats. The playbook is frame the policy as beneficial. Call it something good. And Republicans are no strangers to this either when they want to play this game. But black people don't rock with Republicans at a 90% clip. So we're going to talk about the ones that they do. So reproductive rights. Well, no, that's just Margaret Sanger's extermination. Great society, war on poverty. No, that's just incentivizing harmful behaviors and wicked, ratchet behaviors. Single mother culture, fatherless home culture. We're going to pay you to not have a man in the house. they frame it, we're going to end poverty. Well, the poverty rate was going down prior to the war on poverty. It was already declining because the country was experiencing a boom. And then the Great Society, war on poverty, all of these other things happened, and poverty rose and has been steadily the same, or spikes. Because you can, I mean, go to ChatGPT, look it up. You can find it. It doesn't, you know. And so you frame it one way. Don't forget to like the video, double tap the screen, like Paul Querrell said. Thank you, Paul. Is it Creel? All right. They kick men out of the home, thereby creating a ready stock of women who know that their check is coming from the Great Society programs and the Democrats. Why do you think 90+% of black women vote consistently for Democrats? Well, that didn't start until after the Great Society programs, right? Because all these women are just saying,
I just want some money.
I just want some money. And then they create
I'm a PhD.
The PhDs that will be in debt to an institution for how many untold years, never be able to, the demographic that was losing their houses and foreclosing the most were women, and a lot of them were black women. So this perpetual cycle that they see, and then the ninjas like him, Brandon Johnson, they're the ones perpetuating this. But the enemy looks like us now, so you can't tell the difference. The enemy looks just like you. So when you could say, well, I could tell as the white man, the Jim Crow South white man is my enemy. Bull Connor and, right, you know, all those people, that's the people we got to look out for. Now you got to look out for ninjas like Brandon Johnson. Your mayors, your LaToya Cantrells. These are the people that are destroying. Name a city that's majority black run, that's run efficiently and effectively. Name one. If you could name one, that'd be great. But I could name a bunch of Chicago's, New Orleans's, Baltimore's, and the like, Los Angeles's, before you could name the one. Right? So Brandon Johnson is trying to get, he's trying to creatively hand out reparations, right? Because, you know, Kamala said,
I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
But Brandon said, well, I'm going to do it. Right? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do something specifically for black people. Right? So unfortunately, we've got too many mayors like Brandon Johnson running cities, running majority black cities, running them into the ground. Yeah. What's going on, Pro What? How you doing? Brother Derek Franklin says a lot of these PhDs work for the government. Exactly. When they vote, they're voting in their self-interest to the detriment of those of us who want to see the government shrink to constitutional levels. Yes. And so, unfortunately, Brother Derek Franklin, you're absolutely right. That's one of the reasons why I'm all for voter reform. I'm radical. I want the 19th repealed. But I also think it's a very good idea. It would be a very good start if to limit those people who are receiving any type of funding from the government, limit their ability to vote because they are compromised. Of course, you're going to vote to continue to get the subsidies that you're getting, or the money or the paycheck or whatever that you're getting. If you're on government assistance, whether it be farm subsidies, specific grants, whatever, you don't get to vote. You shouldn't get, because you're compromised. You're always going to vote for the continuation of the money you're getting from the government. Yeah, I have some very, I guess, controversial I mean, maybe they aren't that controversial anymore. Takes on, yeah. Yeah, what's going on? Thank you. Was it Yolo Conway? Thank you for joining. Who else we got in here? Paul, I told you, Paul Krell. I like that. Jay, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. I'm checking the chat to see who's it. Martha Estrada, thank you. Right, thank you. Hope I rolled my R's okay there. Okay, so let's continue listening to the excoriation of one Brandon Johnson.
You got Cash Patel and Pam Bundy that you're going to have to deal with sooner than later. Then it's going to be an audit. Next, it's going to be an investigation. Then it's going to be an indictment. Conviction. That's what's going to happen to you.
Mr. Brandon Johnson, I'm up here. I am speaking right now, so I would love your undivided attention, please. I'll wait. So this just proves to you the lack of leadership that you show in this city. You can't even give me straight eye contact. Now, I'm going to let you know now, the people of Chicago, we're done with you. It is insane how we have been voting Democrat for over 60 plus years, and we've never seen a change from people like you, Lori Lightfoot, Robbie Manuel. It is insane. Chicago was 37% red. In 2020, it was only 15%. So we're waking up. So you can pretend that this isn't happening, but I know for a fact that you will not have that seat the next election.
You so strong about protecting those aliens, but you won't do nothing for the U.S. citizens.
Come on. They lit into him. All right. They lit into him. I agree with that, Paul Krell. I think that, yeah, military service should be a prerequisite for, there's a lot of different things. I mean, I could go into I'm not going to talk about all the ideas I have for that because I haven't done a full fleshing out of each of the things that I think. But yeah, one of them I do think is, yes, military service people, because if you're especially if you enter combat, you should definitely have a say. Definitely. Right. And if you could be deployed into service overseas or deployed into combat, you definitely should have a say. Right. I'm talking about people who are not really putting their lives on the line and are receiving a lot of benefits from the government, but they have no stake in the country. It should essentially, what I'm saying is you should if you want to vote, you should have some sort of investment, tangible, real investment in the success of this nation. If you're just a leech, if you're just a sponge, if you're providing nothing of value, if you are just take, then no, get on out of here. Like, get on out of here with the voting stuff. Universal suffrage was not an idea that the founders held to, and for good reason. Right? For good reason. John Adams says it. Our Constitution was made for a holy, moral, and religious people. It is unfit to govern any other. Now, again, people will say, "Oh, he was inconsistent and they owned slaves and blah 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 blah." Nobody said that the idea had to come from a perfect person to be a really good idea, right? So, pretty sure you all have ideas, and none of us sitting here are perfect. But the system, as flawed as it is, was very helpful in. There's only 2 nations that ended slavery, and it was white people. Yeah. So. Yeah. Yeah. And again, so I'll let you all know again, if you want me to address your concerns, super chat button is right there. I will answer super chats. Generally, I'm only going to deal with questions from my members, moderators, so that I don't get sidetracked. I may address it if it's germane to the topic, but unfortunately, I can't be sidetracked by every thought that you all have in the comments. I can't follow the comments like that because the show would go off the rails if I did that, right? So let's continue on. Now, this one's going to be a little bit more fun, I think. I got two more things to talk about, right? Yes. So, all right. So we got Sophie, Caitlin, and Lexi. All right, what they're calling tres leches. All right. Thank you, Jim Blubber, for tuning in. Papa Doobie. All right. Daniel Price, thank you for tuning in. Who else have I not forgotten? I haven't forgotten anybody that's come in. If you come in, I will say hello to you. I will try my best to make sure that I say hello to everyone that comes in, even if you are belligerent, rude, or unhelpful, because I'm going to be polite. All right. Yeah. Yep. So. Yep. Yeah. All right. So anyway, let's continue on. Right. Everyone thinks their comment is the most important thing. Learn your history, they say. Oh goodness, it's so original. Let's see. All right. So we're going to talk about. We're going back to. All right, so we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about Sophie, Lexi. Oh, yeah, I'm keeping them in. Yeah, Yep. All right, so we're going to talk about this now. I don't know. Well, we'll see. But this is the play that the WNBA. We'll see if the WNBA comes after me for, But the WNBA, you may or may not be paying attention to it, but it is an interesting. I follow clips of it. I don't watch the games because I can't. I just can't do it. If I'm not watching NBA, I'm definitely not going to watch WNBA. All right, but here we go. So you see Caitlin Clark gets hit in the face. Bump, boom, knocked down by Marina Mabry. All right. And then, Sophie Cunningham says, you know what, y'all, you the same person that hit my girl? All right. You got to get takedown. You got to get the takedown. So Sophie Cunningham takes down the ladies, right, that were coming after Caitlin Clark. All right. Okay. And then all heck breaks loose. Now, Sophie Cunningham is a former place kicker for a football team, and she also has a martial arts, I think a black belt in some form of martial arts. So she's not opposed to the smoke, right? And she did some dirt, right? She did the dirt. Now, you normally don't see your enforcer looking like Sophie Cunningham, right? Your enforcers normally don't look like that, right? But Sophie came with the receipts. Okay, now let's take a look at this. So she decides to hold on. That was the wrong link. She decides to do that. The face of the NBA is Caitlin Clark, right? And so she decides to defend her, and then whoop! Look what happens. She goes from 307 followers on TikTok to over 800,000 in a day, and that wasn't it, right? It kept growing. He said the WNBA should pay you for paying attention to them, right? Exactly. Now she's over 1 million, right? She's gotten over 1 million followers on TikTok because she defended the golden goose. Because people have been going after Caitlin Clark for the past year and a half in the WNBA. And Sophie said, enough is enough. I'm going to lay the smack down. Okay? Now, what did she say? What were her exact words? Let's listen to Sophie talk about the incident and the tres leches situation that's been going on, right? The 3 milks. That's the situation. All right.
Francisco. Tomorrow, you're on the Las Vegas Strip. What can the Las Vegas expect from Sophie?
Oh, you know what? I'm just going to be me. I don't go in there trying to predetermine anything. I'm dialed in. I need to focus on hitting my shots, making sure I'm executing the schemes right. I'm not focused on the extracurricular activities. And you know what? During that, it was just part of the game. I think the refs had a lot to do with that. It was a build-up for a couple of years now of them just not protecting, the star player of the WNBA. And so at the end of the day, I'm going to protect my teammates. That's what I do. And I'm a team player, so it's all good.
You heard what she said. So she says it's been a year of the refs not protecting the star player in the WNBA. Caitlin Clark gets millions of views. People talking about women's basketball who would never talk about it. I'm talking about it. I would never have talked about it. I hadn't watched a game or heard anything about the WNBA since the Cynthia Cooper, Cheryl Swoops days when I was a high schooler and I played or was playing basketball shortly after high school. because it was the new thing and they marketed it to us. But I hadn't paid attention to the WNBA since then, since 1999, maybe. I don't even know. That's crazy. And now it's in the zeitgeist. It's a topic of discussion. She went from 300,000 subscribers on TikTok or followers on TikTok to 1 million. Why? Because she defended the golden goose. The reason why anybody is paying attention to the WNBA. I know Angel Reese thinks that it's because of her, but nobody's watching games because of Angel Reese. She's an influencer. We already talked about how she's always shaking her rear end in the last episode on Thursday. Go check it out if it's still up. I don't even know. It could be banned. I have no idea. But she's always shaking her rump. Now, don't get me wrong. If you know anything about Sophie Cunningham, she is not unfamiliar with selling her body, right? Meaning she sells what sells. Y'all know the thing that sells, right? In pretty much any industry. So she does that too. Not that she should be rewarded for that, but our culture rewards it. But she recognized something that a lot of people will not recognize in that league. That you have to cozy up to this golden goose. Create a friendly rivalry with her. Become her antagonist, a friendly antagonist, or a supporter. You don't have to bow down to her. You can compete with her and try to beat her. Caitlin Clark is who I'm talking about. Or you can be on her team, be a friendly teammate. Because she can make you lots of money. Sophie Cunningham has essentially gone, she's now going to be a millionaire. All because she stood up for Caitlin Clark. A millionaire. Right? Forget the whatever else is going on, but they're dealing with the 3 milk. Look at this. Sophie Cunningham received a $400 fine for her flagrant foul penalty defending Caitlin Clark. Her jersey is now sold out, and she's an overnight fan favorite. Best $400 spent ever. She has essentially come up to a social media platform that could make her millions of dollars. Because she's going to do the silly stuff that people want to see on TikTok, and she has millions of followers, and she's monetized, and all because she decided, you know what? This gravy train of Caitlin Clark, how about I get on it in a positive way? Let me do that. Let me not hate or antagonize this young woman. She's good for the game. She's good for my bottom line. Let me protect her. Nobody else is doing it. And look what happened to her. She's now in the ranks of, let's see, where is it? She's in the ranks of, look at this graph here. This was her. Ejected in late game skirmish. 300,000, 1.1 million. There were very few, if any. Where's that other, yes, this one. These are the WNBA players most followed on Instagram. Angel Reese 4.9, Caitlin Clark 3.2, Paige Beckers 2.6, Sabrina Ionescu 1.4, Asia Wilson 1.3, Cameron Brink 1.3. She's now at 1.1 on TikTok. That's over 800,000 followers in a couple of weeks. Why? Because she defended this one right here. The mover and shaker. Exactly, brother. Right. She said, let me get some of that. That was a wise move, an astute move. Now, it would be wise. Look, and I'm going to tie this in to the Brandon Johnsons of the world and the black community at large. Right. So the trick. Let me do this first. Let me show you the video, because she's milking this thing for all it's worth. And I'm gonna show you the picture if you don't see the video. But she comes in. She arrives in Vegas, And look at the shirt that she has on. Right? I'm going to show you the photo if you didn't see the video, if you can't tell from the video. But she comes in. That's Sophie Cunningham, right? So she's coming in and she's like, look, we doing this thing. This is the photo. Look at what the shirt says. Tres leches, the 3 milks. That's her, Caitlin, and Lexi Hall. That's why I put them in there. They about to come up. They were about to come up. I mean, I'm not watching any games. I'm not buying any of this merchandise. I don't care. But I'm looking at this and thinking, why won't some of these black players stop shilling for the black community and get on this train? If you truly about black excellence, because there's some black players could have supported her, and her fan base would be buying up their stuff too. I don't know. I'm asking the question because everything's about race. So now you got the 3 milks coming up, and now you're going to be even more upset, and you're going to cry racism because you're going to say, well, it's because they're white. Well, black people had a chance to defend Caitlin Clark too. Y'all just decided to trash her. Y'all decided to be gatekeepers of the Black Lesbian Basketball Association and try to injure this young lady who could have helped all of you come up, become millionaires. Thank you, Paul, for the sub. I appreciate you. Mark Miles, thank you for tuning in, and thank you for the comment. All right. Anybody else? Have I missed anybody? Let me make sure. Jeff Johnson, welcome. Whoever else, let's do it. Daniel, I think I got you, Daniel. All right, yeah, Papa Doobie. Okay, I got y'all. Thank you. Don't forget to like the video on your way in. I appreciate you, everybody that's liking, commenting, and subscribing. Appreciate you all. Don't forget to support. You can become a member. We're going to try to push this thing into the stratosphere. We're going to get back to the grind. What's going on, John Moore? Welcome. We're going to try to get back to the grind and get this thing. We are going up to like we gotten 4,000 subscribers pretty quickly over, the political season, and then I had to slow it down. But we're going to try to pick it back up. I'm going to see what I can do in my schedule. We're going to try to get it to 10,000. We're going to be on the push for 10,000. All right? Cuz once it hits 10,000, they say after that it just becomes autopilot. Yes, Latinas love tres leches, right? Apparently a lot of Indiana Fever fans and they love tres leches too. So, but the 3 milks are making their presence felt in the WNBA. Yes. So apparently we got to do a lot of soul searching. The WNBA has not been popular. It's been steadily increasing some viewership, but Caitlin Clark comes and it skyrockets. Her games, and we did some videos on that last year, her games start to see astronomical numbers for WNBA viewership and even attendance at the arenas. If you take out the Caitlin Clark games from away teams, their attendance numbers, their average attendance numbers dip. So, yeah. And unfortunately, we've got to start asking, because all of these things are connected. All of the division, the seeds that have been sown of division, the seeds of division that have been sown are ravaging the country from within. We've got problems. We've imported multiple cultures that do not want to assimilate. What's going on, Brother Derek Franklin? There he is. That's how you do it. Yes, for the grind. I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you. Yes, for the grind. We're trying to get back into the grind. Now, y'all, and if you don't know, I'm going to tell y'all real quick, one of the reasons why Derek is saying that, because if you've been a follower of my channel for any time, you know what I do, right? But I'll tell you all really quickly. I'm an independent software contractor. I'm also a part-time music instructor, so I teach music six days a week, 5 different instruments, including voice, piano, guitar, bass, ukulele. Voice, piano, guitar, ukulele. Yeah. And so, but we also homeschool our children, and they all teach they all play multiple instruments. I've been a classical Christian educator, and so that when he says for the grind, when I come to this channel, it is taking away from one of those things or all of them. And then I'm also trying to be a, husband, father, all of these other things, right? Good husband, good father, right? And so I try to find time to address some issues and topics. I also like to read a lot. If you see these books, then that's not all of them. There's like 5 shelves back there, little not homemade shelves, but then there's one over there, 2 over there, 2 over there, 1 over there, 1 right there, books all over the house. It's just, this is, we're trying to build something, and the channel is one of the things that I do. Okay. And my wife was just texting me. Yes. So, but when he says for the grind, that's what he means. So any financial support is helpful. And thank you to that. I had a user send me a Cash App. I don't know if they want me to specifically mention them, but recently they sent me a Cash App. Whenever you send me Cash App, I just straight up invested into Bitcoin. So yeah, if you want to support my growing Bitcoin portfolio, you can send me a Cash App. The information's in the description. So I use the Bitcoin, any Cash App I get straight to Bitcoin. Yes. So we do all of that stuff around here. My children play multiple instruments. They are homeschooled. We do a lot of different things. I was at one time up until recently, the worship leader at a church that we were attending. So I do a lot of stuff. And when he says for the grind, he actually means it. All right. So there's been a rise. So this is what happens when you rise up, right? Hey, thank you, Annie. I appreciate that, right? Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate you for coming in. All right. So let's see. Mark Myers, you also in here. Hi. All right. So, she's been coming up now with the glow up. I mean, with the rise comes the haters, right? Hey, right. Comes the haters, right? You got to have the haters. Okay. That's what they say, right? Haters. Okay. So don't forget to like the video. So someone posted this video of this Sophie Cunningham over the years, right? They just posted this as, this is how she's been, her appearance has, what I guess they would say, has improved over the years, right? And so you got people come, this one person comes in, it's a parody account, and it says, what is it? Rhinoplasty, lip filler, cheek implants, chin implant, jaw shave, brow bone reduction, what's that? Buccal fat removal, Botox, and eye lift. So apparently, she couldn't just be doing a better job at, I don't know, like contouring and makeup. That magic that these women do nowadays where they catfish men and they contour and line their faces up and make them look, but I mean, she may have gotten some lip. I don't know. I don't know. She might have gotten her lips done. Who knows? But she's just doing what all of these young women do these days. I mean, unless you have a worldview that supports denouncing this type of glow up, I don't know what. How can you get upset with her and have an ultimate justification for it? She's just taking advantage of the system. Now, I, as a Christian, could say, "Oh, don't let your adorning be external," and blah 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 blah, and I can talk about all of those things from the worldview that I hold. But I can also recognize that she's playing the game, and she's winning. That's the game. This is the game, right? What Brother Derek Franklin says. Monetize your haters. This is the game that the world is playing these days, and she's winning. Inside of a league that wants her to fail, and that wants Caitlyn to fail, from the commissioner of the league to the refs to some of the owners down to the players and coaches, they want Caitlyn Clark to fail. They would probably all celebrate privately, for the most part, privately celebrate if Caitlyn Clark decided to retire tomorrow and never play in the WNBA again. They would be happy with that. Now, unfortunately, that would mean that most people would stop paying attention to it. But yeah. Anyway, so let's start. The three milks was fun. Got the last thing we're going to talk about. We're going to talk a little bit about some cultural nonsense that's been going on. Thank you to everybody that's been riding with me. I was planning on going 2 hours. I'm right at 2 hours. So let's see if we can make this one quick. Now, oh goodness, y'all. So I'm not going to let the song play because I don't want any copyright stuff going on. But let's see. All right. So Dank the Moss. Let me do this. I'm going to pause this real quick. So Dank the Moss, all right, exhausted with degenerative music after Dank the Moss, the 489-pound rapper who attempted to sue Lyft, released a song praising Plan Bs with Claymore while promoting unprotected relations in front of a KFC. They twerking and jiggling and gyrating. She 489 pounds, lost her case against Lyft because she couldn't fit. The man was right. All right. Oh, she got money. You also have a lot of visceral fat. And you're about 3 months away from a heart attack. And the body's not meant to stretch like that. And you are a morbidly obese human being. But, and they shaking. They shaking stuff. In front of a KFC with a 40. This is culture, apparently. Right? They said they were tired of people finishing inside of them and making them have to go and get Plan Bs. That's what the song is about, right? Whoa, sorry. I did not want that to play. Sorry, I don't want to hear nothing from that. But this is nonsense. But this is what is promoted as black culture. And thank you to Dom Luker, the breaker of narratives, for the tweet. And all of the tweets will be in the description of the video after I finish. Don't forget to like the video. Thank you to everybody that's commenting, liking, subscribing. But why do we promote this? Why is this not being condemned from pulpits, from podcasts by black Christians en masse? People will, there are many, and I don't claim to know everybody's heart, but people will say that she's getting money, she's paid, she's this, she's that. And they'll say that we're just hating. What does she have that I want? So people will say money. No, all money is not good money. I don't want that kind of money. And this is a part of the problem. People want money at any cost. See, for the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. See, the Bible even teaches us as Christians to be content, right? If we have food and clothing, be content with that, because you don't know what money would do to you. The Lord could be saving you from being like this if you had money. If you had to trade lives with her, would you? This young lady is 2.5 of me. Like, you take my weight, multiply it by 2.5. That's actually, it's less than that. Wow, I'm less than 2. So it's a little bit more than 2.5. It's 2.57. Okay, but I was close. But this is nonsense. This is not culture. This is death. Why do all of the things that happen to be black culture, accepted as black culture, why do they all lead to death? Obesity, sexual promiscuity, which leads to the death of the child in the womb. Why? Gang culture, violence, anger. Why do all of these things, why is that though, why are those things associated with black culture? Things that lead to death. Jalone, you're right. Because that Camden music, Roberto Blake, people like him, they're not considered authentically black, right? This is what people will tell them.
And you ain't black.
You ain't black. If you like classical music, if you like to read the classics, if you want to be a part of the great tradition, hold on, let me grab this, right? So you read books like this, where you want to go into and understand, right, the great tradition and be a part of the great conversation. If you read Thomas Sowell, if you read, if you read books that aren't authentically black about the black experience, then you're not authentically black. Well, I actually just want to understand the human experience, and I want that human experience to help me to grow in virtue and knowledge and skills. I actually want to be a part of a culture that produces life. And so if I have to reject large elements of black culture, what is commonly called black culture, because it would mean the death of the things that I'm trying to do, then I openly, vociferously, and absolutely reject it. Because they're going to reject me anyway for the things that I like to do. They don't want any part of me. Dank DeMoss said, and she said that she may be 489 pounds, but she could take any of you all's man. And I told my wife, I said, when I showed her that tweet, I said, well, baby, it was a nice run. But if she wants me, apparently, you out of luck. You out of luck. Something about her, right? It's just irresistible. I don't know. Maybe it's the fact it's like having 4 wives at one time. I have no idea. That was wrong. Right? That was wrong. I shouldn't have said that. Right? Because that's racist. What I said was racist. It was racist. Right? Well, we can continue. This is more cultural nonsense. Okay. Here's one of my favorites. If y'all been following my channel for a while, this young lady has made multiple appearances. I'm gonna close some of these browser windows. Give me some. What is it? That's Sophie. It's okay, Sophie. You can come back later. But Jasmine Crockett. All right. Let me get up some of these. Yeah. Jasmine Crockett. All right, here we go. Let's listen to Jasmine.
Kamala Harris, light years ahead of Donald Trump as it relates to qualifications, as it relates to her overall resume, and as it relates to the fact that she was a lot younger. Everybody said that they wanted to get rid of Joe Biden because he was too old. Then you had a younger, qualified, non-felon candidate, and somehow the people still chose the old white man. Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris. Younger, more astute. Y'all do realize that we heard her talk, right? That we actually listened to Kamala Harris. That's why we didn't vote for her. We heard the word salad. I mean, my favorite salad is probably Caesar. I mean, I could deal with some other ones too, right? But it's not word salad. I don't like word salad, especially from a politician. I want clear reasoning. I want stances that I can either object to or accept. But what I don't want is shifting sands. What I don't want is...
So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
But then try to do a bunch of stuff to benefit black people when you realize that black men aren't riding for you. Send in Barack Obama. I'm getting this. I am understanding that the brothers aren't down with Kamala. And I'm not okay with that. So we need to get out the message. No. See, this is the problem. We have to lockstep, right? Whatever the Democrats say, we had to just go with it. Because we had to believe that Kamala was smarter than Donald Trump. We had to believe that her mental faculties were better than his. We had to believe these because she's a strong black queen. Because Jasmine said so. Because Barack said so. Because Michelle said so. Right? But unfortunately, we also heard Kamala talking. See, if Kamala had just never spoken, like the initial plan, then we wouldn't have known. Well, we would have known that she wasn't fit for the office. So this revisionist history sounds a lot like LeBron James. We saw you fail in 2011, bruh. We saw you shrink before you jumped ship to the Miami Heat. And then we saw you shrink again when you jumped ship again. We see you. Yeah. Hey, Green Eyed Lady, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you. All right. Dirty Larry 618, thank you for tuning in. I'm going to let you, even if y'all don't like it, right? Matthew Bartlam, thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Annie. All right. We're just coming across. Yes. All right. She had to make sure that she let me know that she's leaving. She could have came in, not commented, and just left. But they got to let you know. They got to let you know on the way out, right? The raid's quitting. What's up, Josh Reeves? Thank you for tuning in. They got to let you know. They got to rage quit. Right? And guess what? There are people who I see on my Facebook feed, X feed, YouTube feed that say stuff I don't agree with. Guess what I do? Going about my business. Right, exactly. Going well, Josh. Thank you for asking. Yeah, right. Bye, Felicia. Nobody asked you. We don't care. Right? Now I can see if you was possible subscriber, but if all you want to do is say bye. Right? All right. So we got to see the truth when she talked. Okay. And that was enough for us to know. Yeah. And on that note, we actually are going to close out because I've been going for a while. But I appreciate everybody for tuning in to this episode. All right. Yes. So we're going to be joining out. The episode will be recorded, so you can go back and check it out. The topic was, we had 3 topics, Josh. One was Trump's strike on Iran. The second was Brandon Johnson, Mayor Brandon Johnson from Chicago, and his reparation scheme for black people, slavery reparation schemes for black people. And then the 3 milks, the Tres Leches, Sophie Cunningham, Lexi Hall, and Caitlin Clark, and how black people would be wise to, the black players in the WNBA would be wise to jump on that train to get some of that money, right? If they just want some money.
I just want some money.
If they just want some money, would you go ahead on and jump on that train with the Tres Leches, right? You can put a little chocolate in that Tres Leches, right? Tres Leches with some dark chocolate, right? Okay, go ahead on and do that. And then we did a little cultural nonsense. That was marketed then, but the hour has grown long. Grace and peace, Brother Jalone D. Woods Sr. And until next time, y'all be on the alert, stand firm in the faith, act like men, be strong. See y'all around. Bye.